Unleash your creativity with your micro welder, episode 3. Today we are going to be making this graduated emerald Y necklace with clasp and adjustable length. We are going to be using natural emerald beads that are faceted, they're 3 millimeters, and already strung in a gradation. I'm going to keep it in this gradation. You don't have to. And if you don't have beads that are already in a gradation, and you want to mix some other colors, just line them up and figure out the order in which you want to weld it in. And I want to go from dark to light. So I'm going to cut this strand in this section with the dark at the bottom. And then I'm going to take from the bottom as I weld up. Next thing is, you want to make sure that you have wire that's thin enough to go twice, doubled up into bead. Just to let you know that machine-made beads, even though these are emeralds and they're fine gemstones, machine-made beads are far better than the hand-drilled for consistency of hole. And I would suggest that you test each one first. And sometimes it requires a bit of coaxing. So, for example, here, I've been able to push it in. And sometimes you might need to hold it this way and twist them in to make sure that they fit through. And then you can put them aside. Sometimes you'll find ones that are, maybe the drill hole is a little bit on the crookedy side and they will not work. So test out your beads first. So now I decided on this chain and I want the beads to be in drops with almost a grape-like effect in clusters. So I'm going to start at the bottom and go right, left, and you can plan out whichever way you want. And sometimes it might be a good idea when you're planning to have some tape, masking tape, sticky side up, put this chain down, and then stick your beads, pearls, or whatnot in the position, and then you can see the effect before welding. And that'll save you a lot of headache. And if you're like me and you're more visual, this is a very nifty hack. So let's do this. Okay, so what I'm going to do is you don't have to have these, but they just make things a little bit easier, a little bit rounder. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make it round like this. Okay, hold on to this part because it's round, and then you pinch down like this. And you bring that in like this. And you can clip it to the way you want. So now you've got a really pretty round loop. Cut it. Now you have almost like a little key, like this. Okay. And then fit your first bead in. Sometimes actually it helps using a pair of pliers to hold things still, especially when they are tiny. Press down so that the ends are together first. I was pushing elsewhere, and sometimes it makes things go into an X shape. So you want end as close as possible because this is Now, the other thing is you might want to make this longer. It'll make it easier to handle, but you'll be more wasteful. And maybe that would have been a better idea, but I am very frugal. So I am going to do this. Okay. And then I'm just going to push this through. Yeah, I should have just been less frugal for the sake of filming. Because now it just takes a little longer. Okay, so I've got this. Let me see if you can see this. This sticks out a little bit. Let's see if you can see. So there's a little loop. This sticks out a little bit. Okay. And then I'm going to just push them together a little bit and then hold on to this end like this. And then we do. And I'm going to put it up close. If you can see this. You see? The ball, it balls up. And now, there's no wire wrapping. That was fast. And you have a perfect loop. Doesn't come out. So we're just now going to repeat the rest that way. So I'm going to keep doing this. And maybe what I'll do, since I know that it's going to work, I'm going to do a bunch of these loops. I'm going to make them a little longer. Since it's sterling silver and it's not as expensive as gold, so I make these little loops. And I'll figure out how many of those I want to make. Let's see if you can see that, what I'm doing here. I've never been one for being patient, so I will do one step over and over again and get myself prepared. So the trick also is when you are doing this to push as far close as possible. And you can decide however many you want, but I think I like odd numbers. I'm going to see if 7 works. But since I'm doing this, might as well do more. Do 9. So I'm making all these little hairpin looking things. Okay, so I've got them made. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go right and left. Take one of these and I drape it down to see where I want this side. Pull it through and I take another bead. Sometimes though, if you're pushing down that end, yeah, this pops this side out. And you can twist it a little bit to stop it from doing that. And twisting back and forth helps it go in. Okay, so that's quite a bit, and I'm going to trim it. Okay, and that is done. And then, okay, I'm going to see. Let me see if you can see this. Okay, so the next one, I just want the other side so that it's right, left, much like a tree branch. Okay, so I make sure I'm going in the right direction. Once you pull it through, it's fine. Double check before you weld anything. Okay, let's try the next bead. It is a lot easier if it's long. And then just pull. Straighten out. Make sure that your wire is not crooked. And you might have to straighten out because there isn't a whole lot of room to maneuver. And then you might have to coax it a little bit like this. Once you get to that point, you make sure that this is nicely rounded and no more changes, then you cut. And I think I want this to be a little bit tinier, the loop. Seemed like it was bigger than the other ones. So there you go. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to cut. So that's a little bit over 1 millimeter. You don't need more than that because unless, a little bit more. If the hole is really big, you might want to leave it a little longer and then keep pushing back. So okay, so that took a couple more tries. Let's see if you can see this more clearly. But there. And so far, this is how it's going. And I'm going to continue that pattern. So we're just going to continue doing the same thing over and over again. The trick is making sure that you're going right, left, and you're working on the correct side each time. I've done it in the past where I do it and then all of a sudden discover that in the middle there was one that did not work. Oops, that's not the one I want. So check along the way, and sometimes some of these beads, the holes are not. Okay. I pulled on the wrong side. Now I've lost track. So sometimes it's better just to have it on a sticky tape. The other thing is, sometimes if you leave it too long, you push on it, it'll crinkle. And then you have to straighten out, and by then you make the wire a bit bulkier. So instead, hold on to the bottom, and sometimes it's easiest if it's really tight, just to keep turning it one way, like a screw. And eventually, the wire will come out, holding it close to the tip here, like that. Excellent. That's big. And it worked. So it's from dark and getting lighter. Okay, so I'm out of beads that 26 gauge goes through easily. So I'm going to do some that are, I'm going to use wire that's 28 gauge. This. I have many more options. I'm lining up to see the colorways. I want something a lot lighter, so I decided I want to make it longer. I've lined them up because I've changed my mind, and I'm going to just now figure out light, dark. Okay, I lined them up, and now, okay, so these are thinner wires. Let's see how it goes. Way easier. But I am concerned that they might be a bit too loose. The hole. So I'm going to make it longer. Okay. Maybe not that long. I'm just going to go like this. And have it roll back. So maybe 2.5, 3 mm. I'm just going to put 7 watts. And it's perfect. Haha! See? And you can't really tell the difference in the wires, the thickness. But it makes it so much easier to go through. Perfect. Doesn't take much effort. I love it. So just split it like this. Find out where it needs to be next. Through. Bead in. Pull on it. Like such. And I'm going to cut it. So 2.5. 2 millimeters. Oh, that worked. But I want, let me see. I want the ball to show up. No. So this one did not show up because the hole is big. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this off and put it longer. So all I have to do is press down and push that way. Grab hold of that. Go. I think I'm going to roll it back a bit. Okay. Let me do that one. cut this long just to see. Might have to do more than a few times. See, it's still too long, but the ball is getting bigger. Okay, there we go. I'm going to clean that a little later, but this gives you an idea. And now the ball sticks out. Okay. I could feel that this bead has a larger hole too. So I'm going to leave it at 3 millimeter in the cut. Perfect. Okay, this is the final one. And it's very pale. And emerald right at the top. If I could find a white one, I would love to have that. This is good. I just want to show graduation. And now the thing is, this is not too big a hole. I wanted to show up, so I'm just gonna, again, 3 mil. There we go. Yeah, and it shows up. Ta-da! Yeah, I'm gonna go and wash this out, and then this is my Y necklace, and I'm gonna weld this to the chain up top. I want to show you something. So I just rinsed this out. There's fire scale on bead, a bit of oxidation, and I just rinsed it out. But I noticed that in the crevices, there's a bit of oxidation and soot from the grime of the welder. So what you can do is, using this bristle brush, okay, just to let you know, when it's like this, it's a lot softer. But if you reduce it to this, it becomes more like a little toothbrush, and the bristles are stiffer. Let me see if I can find one for you. It is a bit more sooty. Okay, maybe see if I can find something that can show this. So all you have to do is thereafter. There. I'm not sure if you can see here. Here's one that's probably more noticeable. Just dark ring around it. All you have to do. And it's gone. See? So this brush, when you reduce it to reduce the size of the bristle, becomes a little bit stiffer, and just polish it at an angle. Okay, now I think I want this Y necklace. Okay, so I want these drops to go right and left. So I want a large ovals facing out, because I've hung them right and left like this. And I think I want this right here to be empty, and I'm going to use a jump ring so that it can slide. And I'll explain a little later why I want the ring to slide as opposed to clasping it in a small ring onto the chain permanently without being able to slide around. Okay, so I'm just going to clip it right, and clip it right here. With a welder, you can weld fine rings. If you change your mind, you can weld it, and it's almost imperceptible. Okay, so I'm going to do that. And I'm going to use 3mm jump ring. I could go smaller, but I think I want this because it matches the thickness of the loops. Okay, so I'm going to close this. You should always close the jump rings by pivoting back and forth and grinding it. You can feel it. Okay, here we go. Melted it, but that's okay. So sometimes this happens, it flat topped it. What I do is put this through. I just use this. And you can make it round again. Okay, so this is the jump ring that I welded. And now, actually, I can just leave it like this and have it go through, have the chain go through. But I can also, if I want to, do this and make it and jam it out by opening my pliers a little bit so that it is somewhat oval, like this. And if I really wanted it, I could also use the inside of these pliers, like, let's see if you can see it, like this. Any pliers will have this bit, and you can push down and now you have a link that looks like the other links. And what I'm going to do now, let me see if I like the way it looks. So this is now what it looks like. I'm not sure if you can see that clearly. So basically, I have it sliding, and this is what it'll look like. And I'm going to now finish the ends, and I will show you how I do that. Okay, first thing is, if your pendant or cluster, there is a nicer side or a front and there's a back or whatnot, take a look and make sure that your clasp that you're going to add is on the correct side. So if it's for a specific person, know that if they're right-handed or left-handed. And if I am doing it so that this is the front, the trick for me is I always go the mirror so that it's going to be on the left hand even though I'm right-handed, so that when the person putting it on, most likely if you're selling it and you don't know if it's right-handed or left-handed person, chances are they're right-handed. So attach your clasp when you're looking towards the front. Do it on the left side. Okay. So I've decided on a spring ring clasp because it is delicate and it balances this nicely. So many of the spring ring clasps are open and you can barely see it. It's here, it's open here and it's thick. You can just pivot, hold on to this, hold on to this side, and pivot open like this. Let me see. You can see it. I'm going to do it close up. So, opened it. I am going to attach it to this side. Okay. Here you go. So I've put the chain inside this loop. Now I'm going to close it and weld. So again, just like any other jump ring that you weld, close it. And the other thing is, oftentimes we don't close it properly because we've opened it this way. So pivot, make sure it's closed, and right on top. Okay, there you go. It looks good, and you cannot open it. So on the other side, even though I can get by with a smaller ring, I'm going to use one that is similar to the spring ring clasp. It's bigger and it's easier to go through. There you go. Okay, I'm going to clean it. So this is now finished. Didn't take long at all. Got this. I can clasp onto this. And this is my luxurious emerald necklace. And the reason why I did not have this go through one of the links to make it stay in the exact spot is that way, with this spring ring clasp, if I ever wanted it shorter, all I have to do is clasp it onto one of these links like this. Now it's a lot shorter and it is still centered. And if I was to hang a drop at the back, that'd be very pretty in the back of the neck. There you go.
I hope you found that episode to be interesting. And if you did, please like and subscribe and comment below. I'd love to hear from you. And actually, it helps the algorithm. I'm a wholesaler of premium quality chains and findings, as well as micro welders. I'm going to leave a note below, a little bit more information about our company and what you've seen in this video.